Okay, so we're now live on all the systems. So hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to the third session of the first part of the Connected Mobility Hub investor event. I'm going to do a very quick presentation, as I've done on the first and the second sessions, of what the hub actually does, so that you understand it while the guys get prepared in the background. I'm just waiting to open up the screen here, and I'm just going to show you one specific slide, which is this one. So you can now see it. Okay. So basically, the Connected Mobility Hub is an association of smart mobility startups that we set up about 5 years ago, Sergio Diaz and myself. We help with four main things, which are what you see on screen. So we help with visibility, and this is particularly in terms of events. We work a lot with EVA, for example, where we support them in bringing in sort of innovation sections and startups to their overall motor related or transport related, mobility related events. We do the same also with Smart Mobility Congress in Barcelona. We've also been supporting the EU Startup Prize for Mobility as juries. There's some events in Portugal that we do the same with. So generally, we're very open to doing it in more places. So generally, we help with sort of events and providing visibility to the sector and specifically to the startups associated. We also have a community. So we have a community involving everything from public administration through to corporates, through to investors, such as now. But probably the most active part of the community is actually the community of startups themselves, where we have groups in WhatsApp, email, Slack, and we sort of share information, share ideas, put together impromptu groupings of startups, maybe to resolve public tenders, etc., etc. We also support in the same vein, then the two veins are open innovation investment. So open innovation, we're supporting 75 different open innovation projects with corporates from across Europe. We're slightly stronger in Spain than we are in other countries, and investment. So the investor community, the total investor community is about 300 investors. We have 150 that are signed up to our investor room in Startup Includer, and then we have the annual investor event, of which this is now our first annual online investor event. We have our annual investor event, and I think we're doing another one in November in Smart Mobility Congress in Barcelona. So this particular investor event comprises 4 online pitching sessions. So we did one 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago now. We did one 6 days ago. We're doing the one today, and we're doing another one in a week's time on the 28th at 12 o'clock CET. We're then going to leave more or less a month for the startups, the investors to start communicating, for decks to be distributed, one-pagers, initial conversations to happen. And then on the 3rd of September, we're doing a pure online networking event. We always divide this into 2 sections. So we do one which is investor to investor, and we'll be doing that from just before lunch, basically from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on the 3rd of September. And then we'll do an investor startup, more than networking. It's going to be one-to-one meetings with the idea of finalizing any investment opportunities, or at least making the questions, or answering the questions that need to be answered, that needed to be answered during that period, that haven't been able to be answered so easily by email. We will be using Remo for that. We'll send information later on. If you're interested in signing up for that investor to investor networking and investor to startup one-to-one meetings, then please sign up. You can find it on, you can find the investor form, the form to sign up on our website, connectmobilityhub.com, and there's a link that says investor event. You can find the form there, and then we'll send you all the information so that you can join us on the 3rd of September. So that's enough from me. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring on the first startup, which is Martin from Ox Riders. Martin, if you could start sharing your screen, which he is doing, then I'll bring him on. We've got 5 minutes for pitches. Then I'll do another up to 5 minutes for questions, if there are any that come from the audience. And then we'll get rid of Martin. We'll bring on Akhil, who's the next one, and then successively. And then at the end, I'll bring everybody back on screen in case there are any questions that got delayed because either they occurred to somebody a bit later on, or because there was a lag in the video. There sometimes is. So, Martin.
Hi, thank you very much.
I'm going to disappear off. You're welcome. I'm going to disappear off now. I'll give you 5 minutes and I'll be back.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tom. My name is Martin. I'm the co-founder of Ox Motorcycles. We overlay the style and elegance from the past with the latest technology. Humanity, as we all know, it's immersed in an environmental crisis that is creating a tendency to the purchase of sustainable products. This has pushed the electric motorcycle sector. With only 4 years of life in Spain, has already reached a value of 48 million euros in 2019. In the past 3 years, many new brands, more than 20 new brands of electric motorcycles have appeared in the European market. All of them have something in common, they're scooters. This sector, this market, as is very new, still doesn't have enough solutions to satisfy all the available market. As in Ox, we're betting for something different, to create something unique that has a lot of technology and that prepares our motorbikes for the smart cities. This is the reason why we have developed the Ox One, the first really futuristic, smart, and electric motorcycle. It has exchangeable batteries at top speed of 110 kilometers per hour, range of 100 kilometers, and a starting price of 4,900 euros. Also, we have developed a unique and differential set of AI and artificial intelligence technology that we have named the Smartbox. It combines an app that reflects the location of your motorbike at every moment and learns from each of the drivers and gives personalized notifications depending on the type of use its driver is giving. It also combines an LCD screen that displays the GPS from your phone. And also, the most remarkable, we have fully sensorized the motorbike. It works as a radar for the blind spots. This way we can prevent accidents. Everything is possible thanks to the people behind an interdisciplinary team that is formed by 4 founders with experience in entrepreneurship and innovation, a CTO engineer working with leading brands in the sector, and a product designer that has been winner of 2 Red Dot Awards. We close relationship with our factory in China, who has been already for 12 years producing electric motorcycles and shipping them worldwide. And also mention our partnership with EVA, with who we have made the technological development of the Smartbox. We also come with an advisory board that guides us in key decisions. One of these persons is Ivan Contreras. He's co-founder of Moving. He's one of the referents in the electric mobility sector in Europe. Our business model is very simple. We sell our motorcycles directly to the end user and to businesses. It is supported as well by other 2 activities. Ox Technologies, in which we offer the Smartbox as a subscription service to our clients, and Ox Assistant Service, in which we give technical assistance in case there is any issue with our motorbikes. We're not the only ones in the electric mobility sector, but we are the only ones that are creating a cafe racer that is electric, that is connected to the network, and with an affordable price of 4,900 euros. We have made our own design with our engineering and designing team. February of this year, we decided to open the pre-orders for a value of 40 euros in order to validate the product with the market. Up to date, we have had already 43 pre-orders. This means a total revenue in pre-orders of 223,000 euros. And we have also closed a pilot agreement with Moving. They have the biggest fleet of electric motorbikes all over Europe. And probably we'll close another agreement, if everything goes good, of 100 units for the following year. Right now, we're facing a challenge. We need to make an investment in our factory in order to deliver the product to our customers. And this is the reason why we're in a round of investment of 250,000 euros for the 20% of the company. Out of this round, 60% is going to be for the creation of molds and for obtaining certification for the motorbikes. Out of this round, we are already in negotiation for closing 83% of the round, and still we have available 42,000 euros for the 3.4% of equity of the company. We don't discard the option of having one single member, a VC, taking the full round. Our objective for 2020 is to close the year with 55 motorbikes sold with full payment done. This will mean that we generate a revenue of 300,000 euros. Our vision for 2025 is to close the year with more than 10,000 motorbikes on the streets and a total revenue accumulated of more than 40 million euros. In the last 2 years, very new brands in the sector and euros for launching their motorbikes into the market. This is a sign that indicates that the sector is booming and the market is seeking for more solutions, electric solutions to private mobility. As Inox, we don't want to make just an electric motorcycle. We want to create a cool electric brand that seeks to transform urban mobility. So if you would like to electrify the future with us, we're waiting for you. Thank you very much.
Martin, that was absolutely brilliant. You were right on time. Oh God, sorry, I shouldn't have added in that. Gilly comes in later on. Sorry about that. So if anybody has any questions, please tap them away on the keyboard and on whatever of the channels you're watching on right now. In the interim, while we're trying to warm people up to ask you questions, I've got a few of them. So one thing. The first thing I was going to ask you about was the smart box and the blind spots, because as a motorbike rider myself, I find that interesting. But before I jump into that, I wanted to ask about the round. So the thing that I find quite interesting about the round is that it's more or less filled. It's good to see that the founding team is putting in cash, because that's always something that helps people believe in the project more. If you believe in yourselves and you haven't just got skin in the game, but you're actually putting cash in the game too. But one thing that surprised me is that there were no sector-specific investors. You had the crowdfunding, you had Netting Club, which is like this investment club, but there were no sector-specific investors, which is odd for I haven't seen that in an electric motorcycle startup before. Normally, you've got one or two investors that are sector specific. Why would that be? Is it because you haven't hit on them? Is it because they weren't interested? Is it because the valuation didn't make sense? What were the reasons? Because you must have spoken to some.
Yeah, we have been speaking with many of them, but still, as this is a very early stage company, we just launched pre-orders and we're just in a very early stage. We have to say that we did a first round of investment of 30,000 euros. People in the board of advisors were the one investing. Some of them they're in the sector, and out of this round, 50,000 euros. When we say it's from also people from the board of advisors, so there is people that is in the sector that is giving some money. But yeah, definitely, I think this is the best opportunity with the Connected Mobility Hub to approach this type of investors that we're seeking, because we want to have people with a lot of experience in the sector that can help us, not just with money, but help us in many other ways possible. And yeah, we're also in future rounds. We have been speaking with more VCs that they're getting not in a pre-seed, but in scale-up rounds that they're very interested in funding the business. But at this moment, it's a small round. We're approaching slowly, and this is the best opportunity that we have, definitely.
Okay, all right. I've got one question from the audience. Before I jump into more of mine, I'll put his on screen.
The forecast for the Spanish market. I don't know if I have the exact template for the forecast.
Or just talk us through it, if not.
Yeah. Let me just show this slide. This is the forecast that we're creating. It's not just for the Spanish market. What we're seeing with the pre-orders, out of the 43 pre-orders we're already getting from all around Europe, and also we're getting a lot of interest from United States. And there's a good thing with the electric vehicles is that it's very easy to enter new markets. The cost it's really low, so we're thinking on doing a early stage expansion for saying it somehow. So our forecast for the first year is not only focused on Spain, it's focused in Europe, and we'll be closing the 2020 with minus 95,000 euros. What we envision is the November 2021 will be hitting break even, and then from there going up.
He's asking if it's 8.6 million euros. Don't quite see where he sees the 8.6 million.
8.6 million euros for the that will be the results for 2024, probably the profit.
Okay, I can't see the 8.6, but I've got it very small on my screen, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just not able to see it. Okay, but in any case, for Francisco, if you've got more specific questions on that, we can. I guess we can save them for the end, or grab hold of Martin directly. And then just one more question that I was going to ask was with regard to this smart box. So I didn't quite understand, and obviously blind spots is a big issue with motorbikes. I mean, because I started riding a motorbike, I'm always looking over my shoulder, even when I'm in the car. How does it actually work? Because this is a big pain point for riders, or danger point for riders. If you could just sort of explain that a little bit better, because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, so we have located sensors on the side of the motorbike, and it sends, when there's a car approaching next to it, it sends a small vibration to the handlebar. Depending on which side is approaching, will send to the right side or the left side. And depending on how close the car is to you, it can send a stronger vibration to the handlebar. This way, before you are even seeing it, you can feel the vibration. And also the good thing with the Smartbox and the app that we have developed is that you can customize how many meters you want to feel that vibration. So if you're riding in the city, you might want to put it closer. So this way you're not, the handlebar is not vibrating constantly, but it's more if you're getting very close to a vehicle. And if you're riding in a highway, you can put it farther away. So this way you can feel it.
Okay, that's a great idea. And then I'm just going to add in one last question. But you were talking about notifications, and you were tracking users' use of the motorbike. Is that with a view to monetizing the data, or to support riders in terms of cheaper insurance, or what's the idea there?
Yeah, the idea, we're not thinking in monetizing the data, at least at this moment, because that will be in a high volume of data. That's something maybe for the future. Right now, what we're interested in offering the best customer experience to each of the drivers. So it learns from how the driver is driving the motorcycle and when is it driving it. So it gives personalized notification as you could be riding every day to work. So it knows when it's going to rain. So it can tell you, okay, today you should drive half an hour before to work. So it sends you a notification to the app. And also, for sure, in order for insurances, we're working on this, on how to analyze that data in order that works for insurances and can lower costs or can be higher for the driver.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Next one. I went on a little bit too long with the questions. I'm sorry about that. So I'll bring you back at the end for those that will have any additional questions. And now I'll jump to Akhil. Here we go, and I'll add your screen, and I will disappear off and be back in 5 minutes. Akhil, you're muted. Sorry, you're muted at the moment.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. And so can everyone else. I'll disappear off.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks. So good afternoon, guys. My name is Akhil Gupta, and I'm one of the co-founders of Carga to coche. It means charge my car, if I say it in English. Let me start by saying that our future of transportation is electric. And considering the sessions you are going to see, I guess it's an affirmation of the same. And in Carga to coche, we very much strongly believe that. But for that to happen, there are few problems for the end users which needs to be solved. And one of the biggest problem which we have identified in the market is how people charge their electric vehicles. We are mainly talking about electric cars. What we found out is that from 7 out of 10 people who buy an electric car, they want to have their vehicles charged at home. But 80% of those, they have no clue on what they need in order to achieve that. Majority of the people think that when they will buy an electric vehicle, and I think many of our colleagues can affirm that, They expect that the users expect that the car salesman or the vehicle salesman will explain you all that. But from our experience, it's totally the opposite. I will suggest many of you guys to do a simple test. Go to 3 different car dealers and simulate buying an EV. I'm sure you will come out more confused than having clear thoughts. Main reason for that is that selling an electric vehicle is not only about the car itself, it has changed the traditional model. It's more about battery, electricity, and local regulations. Carga to coche was born around 18 months ago with one simple idea that the future of automation is electric, and the user experience of this new type of user has a lot to desire for. We decided to create Carga to coche to tackle the most important and common problem of all the EV users. That is, once I buy an EV, what I need to do to be able to charge my vehicle at home. Our objective is to make the whole process of choosing the right charging solution for the user and getting it installed at their homes as simple as buying a book on Amazon or getting their rides on Uber. We work with freelance installers, so it's very much a similar model that of Uber, because it helps us provide speed, agility, and scalability to perform services to our customers when we need and where we need it. How does it all work? It's a very amazingly simple digital process what we have defined. So we have taken open source technology, customized it for our use, and now in few months we will be able to license it for other businesses who might want to provide similar type of services. The user can find us at their car dealer or a EV dealer or searching us through Google. They come to our website, they answer a few multiple choice questions that help us understand better their requirements, and immediately we provide them with an estimate of the total cost, which is what they're really looking for. If the user has doubts, our customer advisor calls them, providing advice, and if all is clear, we close the offer there and then. As the order is put in system, we assign a particular freelance installer who will do the installation of the full charging solution to the user within 5 days. Traditionally, this type of service, the time of turnaround for this type of service is around 15 to 30 days, which we have been able to bring down to 5 days because of our processes and the technology we have developed. What we have achieved till now, we started around 18 months ago when we started selling in Spain. We currently do business all over Spain. We made a revenue of 150,000.
Akhil, sorry.
Yeah.
Akhil, yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but just that you're not going through the deck. I don't know if you think that you are, but for some reason you're not going through the there you go. Okay.
Okay, I was going through it. Is it switching now?
Yes, it is now. Now it's changing.
Oh, okay.
Changing.
Sorry.
I'll go back off. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Thanks very much, Tom. No, I won't. So anyway, guys, my apologies. So this thing happened, but anyway, the important part is the revenue. I hope you are able to see Tom. Can you just confirm?
Right now, we just see the problem after you buy an AEV on screen.
Okay.
There, our success so far. Our success.
Okay, so far. I will just keep it small because I think there is some issue. Okay. So my apologies, guys. So I will just go back to this. What we have been able to achieve till now. So last year we made a revenue of 150,000 euros, and this year we are forecasting a revenue of 480,000, where we expect that we will be having a total market share of 1.75%. For all the charge point solutions and installations for the customer. Till now, we have achieved 213,000 euros of investment in one of the crowdfunding rounds, and we got 68,000 from Spanish ENISA funding, and then 45,000 euros from the Mobility Foundation Plan MOVES. So that is our investment till now. Okay. In our vision of providing a simple and easy experience for any EV users, we are a charging solution company. We provide charging solution and their installation services. What we identified is that in Spain, there is an emerging need that not everybody is able to charge their electric vehicle at home. So we don't want to leave those users behind. And we came up with the concept of charge sharing as a solution. This is a solution which we concepted around a few months ago. We presented it into one of the pitch competitions to one of the big utilities in Spain, And now we have been shortlisted. In few months, we will be doing a pilot with that utility all over Spain. So that's a big achievement for us, that the concept which we have designed has been shortlisted by utility. The three founders, we have ample experience in the electromobility. In fact, we all three have been working almost since the beginning of electromobility in Spain. Enrique, who is our CEO, he has come from Kia. He was working in Kia. Javier from Jaguar, and myself, I was working in charging sector in the electromobility, and I have more than 20 years of experience. To achieve our goals, we are looking for an investment of 250,000 with the current valuation, pre-money valuation of our company of 3.5 million. And our objective is that we will be looking to spend this money in technology, teams, and marketing. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. My apologies, the slides didn't move through, but you can ask me the questions now if there are any.
Okay, I'm going to ask a couple. So one thing that wasn't really, well, there are two things with regards to revenue that weren't really clear to me. One was the specific revenue streams.
Yes.
So if you could talk me through that, and then the other thing is the margins on those revenue streams.
So currently we have two types of models of revenue streams. One is B2C. So any user who buys an electric vehicle like you or anybody who is sitting in our audience, they want to install a charging solution. They get in touch with us either through car dealer or directly, and we provide a full installation solution, including the charging point and the services to them. So that's one big major stream of revenue. We have done around 200 installations over the period of last 1.5 years in all over Spain. The second stream of revenue for us is what we call as B2B2C, where we are working with either it's a construction company or it's a fleet company, or it could be an utility who are looking to do the full project of electrification, maybe a particular building, maybe a particular compound, or maybe a particular area. And that is where we are working with them, which is more B2B2C model. We provide our services to them. It includes, again, the full charge point, the solution, the services, including full electrification. And then they provide the services down to their customers. So these are two types of revenue streams we have. Currently, the biggest chunk is B2C.
Okay, and the margin on these, because in effect you're working then as a marketplace, putting in touch the installation companies with the end user, right?
Yeah, it's not exactly the marketplace, because we take ownership of the full project. So we simply don't want the installers, to do it on their own. So all the work we do, installers are kind of freelance. So we are not putting in touch directly with the customers. They work for us. It's like Uber, more or less. They are working for us, and we take the ownership of all that. So currently our margin lies between 20% to 30%, depending on the type of the project we are doing and depending on the type of the services we provide.
Okay, fantastic. And then in terms of your revenue forecast for this year, so for up to 480,000, that's obviously quite impressive in a year where a number of months it was absolutely impossible to do any type of installation. Where and when have you seen that growth? Has it been as a result of the sort of the more the greater consumer interest in sustainability, or is it coming from the B2B side? Where's the sort of the growth coming from?
Yeah, so there are two parts to it. One is B2B. We won a big project at the end of the last year, which was going to be executed this year. So that adds a lot to our revenue for this year. The second one is in B2C, we see there is a lot more interest in sustainability. And I think we were born at the right time last year when electromobility was just growing. So we have built ourselves as a brand, and we are in touch with a lot of car dealers. And when people are looking on internet, when they are looking for a brand to provide the charging solutions, we are getting a lot of demand in B2C directly, customers coming to us. So that's the two biggest thing what has happened. In fact, our initial revenue forecast was around 800,000 euros pre-COVID. And we were pretty much sure that it is possible. But because of the 4 months lost, we downgraded our revenue. And out of 480, we had already confirmed orders of 300,000 euros.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you saw from the Renault figures yesterday that I think Zoe had grown by 38%. So there's obviously
Yes.
a high growth in the market generally. Okay, cool. So thank you very much for that, Akil. I'll bring you back at the end in case there are any questions that come in the interim, and I'll bring on Emilio from Velca for the moment. So. Hi, Emilio.
Hi,
I can't
hello.
see you right now. I'm not sure. Now I can. Okay, brilliant. And I'm just going to bring your screen on. So at the moment you're showing what us. There you go. Brilliant. I'll bring a screen on and I'll disappear off and I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. Recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teachers lied to me. I do it for the ones that came before and nearly. I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great.
Okay, so Velca is a brand of 100% electric motorcycles with an intelligent system designed to improve the sustainability of the planet and mobility in our cities. We were founded in 2020 after a vibrant experience in BOI, the leading micro-mobility startup in Europe. We decided, me and my team, create a mobility solution more adapted to our market, Spain. And we decided to achieve a new dream, that is Velca. In just 3 months, we already are the most followed Spanish electric vehicle brand on Instagram with plus 20K, and the more engaged vehicle company as well in LinkedIn. And we have already sold our first vehicles after COVID, since we started sales operations. And our projections show that 3 years from now, we will have more than 3,000 vehicles on the market, making us the leading electric motorcycle company in the Spanish market. Our CAC is under 90 euros right now, which means that we have checked our product market fit, and we will have positive EBITDA after year 1. But why did we decide to enter in the electric motorcycle market and create Velca? The climate summit, environmental policies, and SDGs make us aware of the need for a new form of sustainable mobility, a positive change that decision makers encourage to favor the use of clean and efficient vehicles in cities. In fact, only last year, the European electric scooters and motorcycle market grew by 64%, with the Spanish market making up 21% of this registration. And we expected to attain a size of close 1 billion by 2025. Concretely, the Spanish market is expected to be the largest for electric motorcycles and scooters, and only during Q1 of 2020, the sale of electric motorcycles rose by 250%. I don't know any sector that is growing more right now. That is why we knew it was important to start this movement to completely change the mobility in our cities with scooters since just 20,000 euros. In a few months, through the hard work of our team, we have been able to launch 3 new motorcycles models, which has led us to start today our third round of investment. Bora, Tramontana, and Kalima are inspired by classic designs and feature sophisticated technology, and they include a removable battery for at-home charging, USB ports, a security alarm, LED lighting, and key fob. We have developed an intelligent system in collaboration with one of the largest connectivity companies in the world. Our IoT model allows the motorcycle to always be connected. The app shows the geographic location of the motorcycle and will notify the driver of any necessary revisions. So Velca motorcycles take care of themselves. And in this way, we offer our clients an affordable motorcycle that doesn't pollute, save money, traditionally used for gas, and with a range of 120 kilometers, it covers all customers' needs, so that they have the best experience. In these months, we already achieved over 50 positive mentions in the most important newspapers in Spain, such as El País, La Expansión, La Razón, El Referente, Emprendedores. And we have already been named a successful startup by organizations as Startup Green or universities like UNIR. Also, during our first and second investment rounds, now investors as Hugo Arévalo, the former president of Hawkers, or Borja Danero, the founder of the Power MBA, or Co Martinez, Force Under 30 in Asia, have become as Velca investors. We have investors that are ex-Googles, ex-Facebooks, people that is working in IBM, Mobile, Sanyang, IKEA, so most very prestigious companies. And we want to do much more. We have set up our Velca renting model as well for our clients who are not interested in owning a motorcycle. We have already created a community of Velca guardians who offer after-sales service anywhere in Spain. And this August, we are opening our first Velca store in downtown in Madrid. With this round, what we want is to expand to other large cities in Spain and establish ourselves as the leading Spanish brand of motorcycle, of electric motorcycles. We will do it by scaling our production to maintain optimal stock coverage and smart marketing investment to accelerate customer acquisition. In the future, we want. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna stop you there. Sorry, just so that we don't go over too much. So while we're waiting, if any questions come in, you know, I had a question. So you talk about being market leader. I think it was next year or the year after. I can't remember the specific year, but you certainly said that you intended to be market leader, which is great. But what's the differentiator? Why would you be market leader? I understand the marketing aspect, and obviously it's a cool video and the influencers. I can imagine that you are the most followed on Instagram. You've put, you know, cool photos and all the rest of it. But what's the differentiator that makes you honestly believe that you're going to be market leader?
Yeah, the differentiation is not is basically, for me, in my opinion, is the brand. And I know that is something like that it's a topic, but we are developing a super strong brand. We are investing a lot in inbound marketing, in brand awareness, and in the end, I'm conscious that a lot of motorcycles, electric motorcycles brands are gonna appear in the market with similar products. So what we are developing is a great customer service, a great communication with our customers. We are creating a brand super powerful in terms of delivery, the best value delivery for our customers. What's more, the electric motorcycle is super accessible, just since 2,000 euros, and what's more, provide very good autonomy, very nice customer service. All the batteries are swappable. The app can feel that the user is totally connected to the motorcycle. But I think that our main value proposition what's more than the product, it's the brand awareness that we are developing.
Okay, you said 2,000 was the end user price, right?
Yeah, since 2000.
Yeah.
Matriculation not included. Yeah.
And I saw that it was on one of the screens, but it's the same question that I made to Martin from Ox Riders. So you talked about tracking user usage of the driving capabilities of the motorbike and using that to help improve their insurance pricing. Is that something that's already in place, or is it a plan, or what's the situation with that?
You mean the app?
Yeah, so the app, within the app, one of the comments you made is that you could help use
the app, the prototype
insurance.
The prototype is 100% developed. So our 3 motorbikes for testing, for example, that we use for our customers are 100% connected. The company that we are working is international. We are under a confidential note. So until the moment that we launch the product, we cannot communicate who is the partnership that is helping us to develop this app. And the challenge, and I know that for investors is always super sexy, have a motorbike connected. But as investors now, if we are gonna be focused on B2C and B2B business, maintain a scooter connected is more than €5 per month plus the cost of the IoT model. So so right now the selling of the product is working super nice. And the challenge is create a future business model that is right now in the screen that would be like affiliate marketing. So we can promote cross-selling products through our app, like for example, insurance contract. Our app, for example, measure how good is the driving of our driver, how good driver is. So with that data, we can tell to our insurance partner that today is Mafre, hey, Mafre, this driver is doing a very good use of the Velca, so maybe he can deserve a 20% of discount, and we can divide the discount in 10% for the user and 10% for Velca's affiliate marketing income.
Okay, cool. All right, I don't have any other questions for the moment, and no questions have yet come in from the audience. So what I'll do, I'll remind everybody that Emilia will be back. We've got 2 more pitches, and then Emilia will be back with the rest of them. So if you do have any questions, then please make them, and we'll answer them in sort of 10, 15 minutes time. Okay, thanks a lot, Emilia, and welcome, Donald. Let me just add your screen, and I'm going to disappear off, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. All yours.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, so my name is Donald. I'm co-founder at EVA Global, the leading managed services provider in e-mobility. Basically, companies of all kinds right now are looking to add charging of electric vehicles to augment their current service portfolio. And they want to make money, but they want to do it without all the work of having to actually manage that infrastructure. You know, up until recently, that was simply not possible, and that's the biggest problem we're trying to address. If you're looking to have a network of charging points, you have to think of, well, look at the shopping list here: the location, the hardware, installation permits, partners, utility contracts, charger management systems. Revenue management systems. Well, you get the idea, right? Basically, it was in 2017 that we set out to answer a very simple question that was becoming very quickly our obsession, which is who actually wants to operate the charging infrastructure? And it was in trying to answer that question that we set up EVA Global. Effectively, we offer charging infrastructure services such as infrastructure management, first and second line support. So, you know, starting at our contact center, which is based in Malaga, through to actual maintenance and further services. What you can see here then is, out of that shopping list, we're focusing on those last three ones, right? Infrastructure, driver support, and maintenance. The ideal customers for us are network owners, they're SaaS providers, they are charge point operators, fleet owners, car manufacturers. These are sort of our target customer segments. In terms of the market that we're looking to address, well, we can see here that I think everybody knows it on this session, that in Europe alone, we're expecting to have 1 million charging points available by the end of the year, 15 million of them by 2030. It's expected that we'll need around 290 million charging points globally, right, by 2040. Global sort of EV adoption has grown 63% year on year, and I think a very important point here is the fact that there's an EU recommendation of 1 public charger to be available for every 10 EVs in the market, and this means a cumulative investment in the industry of about 450 billion by the time it's 2040. In terms of the market adoption we've had so far, and we're looking here at particularly our first and second line support, plus maintenance services. While we started in 2017, it wasn't until January that we started to have about 100 charging points that we were managing on behalf of our customers. We were answering about 100 calls a month, and we had no escalations yet for maintenance. But fast forward to sort of April 2020, and we're now managing over 30,000 charging points across 19 countries on behalf of network owners in Europe. We're answering just over 15,000 calls a month, and we're escalating 1,500 of those calls, which start as tickets but end up as work orders for sort of maintenance parties to go out and actually service these charge points. In terms of the revenue, well, that's around 1,000 euros that we had of monthly recurring revenue in January 2019. By the end of the year, we were at 30,000 euros. And again, fast forward to today, we're at about 70,000 euros of monthly recurring revenue. And by the end of the year, with confirmed pipeline, we have 100,000 euros of monthly recurring revenue, but that's quite it's quite conservative. In terms of the customers that we have at the moment, it's related again to the slide I shared a bit earlier. We have, the likes of Ionity, which is a joint venture between BMW, Daimler, Ford, and a few more. And then we have customers like Allego, Gilbarco, has to be, which is a charger management system provider, the likes of Virta as well. And then fleet owners like LeasePlan and large sort of utility companies like Vattenfall and Statkraft. Our business model, well, we have those three main sort of areas, which is customer experience. We charge per minute. We do this on 5 different channels. In terms of our infrastructure management as a service, we do that per connector. And then in terms of the field service management, we do a hybrid model, which is per charging point and per actual call out. So every ticket that becomes a work order and is forwarded to the service party. And in terms of the team, well, this is proper bootstrapping taken to an extreme. We are, my wife and myself, who founded the company, and now we are 42 people who are looking after the amount of charging points that I mentioned before, currently at about 25% capacity, so plenty of room for growth. And I hope that has served as an introduction to our company. Thank you very much.
That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Donald, and right on time. So, sorry, let me just put this on. So, oh God, it needs my finger, but I was doing it at an angle. Incredible traction over the last 15 months, but really also over the COVID period. So to go from 30,000 to 70,000 MRR in the first 6 months from effect of this year, has that been, I assume, current customers that are increasing the number of installation points that they're giving you, because it probably hasn't been a great time to start working with new customers? Is that the case, or?
Well, it's been a mixture, actually. Yeah, customers who are continuing to grow and install more charge points, but also, we've grown to about 26 different customers in our portfolio at the moment. So that's starting from about 10 at the beginning of the year. So we have actually managed to secure new contracts, and I think that's because companies are having to look at how they're structured internally and where they can save costs. And effectively, what we do is we help them to focus on what they do best, right? And we take care of the rest. So I think that's when they're looking at us to sort of take care of all the stuff they don't want to do, basically.
And then in terms of scaling that up faster, and as you said, the forecast of 100,000 MRR by the end of the year is possibly very pessimistic. I'm assuming that because the market's growing so fast, and because you have these customers, as you say, like Ionity, who obviously growing their networks also fast. It's just not just new players; it's the players themselves that are growing fast. What sort of proportion do you envisage of your growth over the next, let's say, 18 months? Do you see being from current customers just growing their installations, and new customers? Obviously 10 to 26. You've surprised me there.
Yes.
Nicely surprised me. But going forward over the next 18 months, how much do you see that? Because I imagine they test you out, they see how it goes, and then they start growing with you from there.
That's absolutely right. So typically we start with sort of like a pilot agreement. We'll look at a couple of languages, a couple of countries, and then a fraction of their actual infrastructure. And then once they see that we've proven our value, they increase it to include, their entire sort of infrastructure, which is what happened with our largest 3 customers, right? And in terms of the future, I think it's a burgeoning market. It's going to be probably about, if you're looking at the next 18 months, I think it's going to be a lot of new business development that's coming in. We have large, fuel retailers, etc., who are really looking to have charging points on the forecourt, which means that, that will also represent a great opportunity for us as a sort of impartial, independent provider of charging services that don't belong to their competitors, right? And that's a key sort of selling point for us.
Okay, cool. And then just one quick question with regards to the operations side of things. So you said you had a cost per call and a cost per charger and a cost per call out. So with regards to the call out specifically, they're obviously, you're working with a network of freelancers or third parties. How involved do you need to be? So how much of a pain point is that for you? I can imagine it could be an absolute nightmare, or it could be really easy.
Yeah, well, I like keeping it easy. So the whole point is that we do not actually have anybody under the payroll. We actually partner with large sort of service parties. You saw there, we have in the brand Siemens, for example, and many more, who are able to sort of pick up that work order from our marketplace and then say, okay, I can take this one, right? And effectively what we become is a bit of a planner of work orders depending on what the actual SLA is, right? I think for us, in terms of our growth, maintenance is definitely number one priority. Now that we've built sort of the rocket, we just need the fuel to sort of get it off the ground. And I think it's going to be very interesting as fuel retailers, and particularly those companies that are servicing those fuel retailers, have to rethink their strategy going forward. So the likes of Gilbarco, for example, who are used to maintaining pumps and will have to change their model to maintain charging points, right? And that's, if you think about it, we get a call from a driver who's saying, there's this problem at the charge point. We also have the charger management system because our ticketing system connects to it, right, through open protocols. So we have all kinds of data entry points. and we're the first ones to know that a charge point needs and we have the contracts, right? So it's a quick way in for the larger players.
Okay, and then just one last thing. We've actually run out of the 5 minutes question, but I don't think you actually put what ticket size you're looking for, just because, you know, obviously that's one of the filters that investors use. So how much are you looking for to raise?
So we're looking for 2.5 million.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna take you off. I'm gonna bring you back as soon as Mike's finished. He's the last one. And then if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. It makes my life easier, if nothing else. I will take you off, and I'll put Mike on now. So here you go, Mike. And I'll add your screen. At the moment, you're showing. Yeah. There we go. Okay. There you go. And I'll disappear off. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Hi there, good afternoon. My name is Mike Rexford, and the company is called AddMovement. 10 days ago, the plan was to present just AddMovement, which is the seat on the right. But in the last 10 days, we've moved things along significantly, and this presentation actually takes that into account now. So what is AddSeat? I'll take you through the two products that we have. AddSeat is a gyro-based mobility product. We've actually been on the market for several years now, been testing it, been celebrating the if you want, the disabled by giving them ability to get them out and about and giving them mobility. We've been selling into Sweden, Germany, Holland, UK now, the USA, and we're gradually expanding it. And part of the reason for this is to actually make sure that we get to more and more people. And it's this more and more people that brought into the next part that we actually decided to work with a company called Endo Energy. Now, Endo Energy are working on exoskeletals. And basically the plan is for us to merge both of these products to give a broader offering. So we go from wheel-based to a walking-based solution. First mile, last mile, because it's extremely important. Getting people out and about makes a lot of difference. Allowing them to get back to work is even more important. So what are our markets? Well, we've got two groups that we're interested in particular. One is this, the disabled group, and then of course the aging population. The aging population is timeline. We started in 2010, Endo Energy in 2006, a lot of their developments. And it's at this point, we've now got to a point where both of us have got products that we can actually ship and sell. And that's where we are. So what are the key benefits of AddSeat and Endo Energy's products, exoskeletal and a seated mobile? Well, basically improves the quality of life for people. I mean, that's the key thing. You really see a difference, and that is important. It means that they can get around and about easily. And if you think combination, those who need a leg support or whether they're going seated support, it also makes a big difference for them. And from the health benefit, it's really important. Our production is currently in Sweden, and the plan is now we're going to raise a significant amount of money so we can actually start a factory in India. And this will bring down our manufacturing costs. One of the barriers we have at the moment at AddSeat is the cost of production. And even by bringing that down significantly, it's not enough, but we need to bring it down even more so we can offer 3 different types of products, good, better, and best. And that's exactly the same for the exoskeletal product as well. There's a lot of similarities in both of those products, and therefore, I'll just skip that slide. We actually get a benefit of the merger of 2 products. We get shared design, shared technology, shared engineering, shared research from the universities. All of those things are very similar for both of our groups. And of course, the most important thing for us is we get a reduction in cost per unit. So again, going back to our markets, what are our markets? We have 3 markets. The initial market is the walking frame wheelchair group. This group is very important for us because basically there's a lot of state support available. It also means that we get a revenue stream already. We're also working with the Employment Office in Sweden and various other bodies, like the Departments of Works and Pensions in the United Kingdom. The second group, the biggest group, is the aging population. And then the third group is the Harley-Davidson group. This group of people who are aging into their 40s, 50s, have got money, would love to buy Harley-Davidson, but actually are disabled, would like something that's cool, and where the AddSeat comes in, or the exoskeletal. Disability is an extremely large market, but the aging population is 12 times that. So we've got a base level that's significant and a growing population. Where are we based? We're based in UK, Sweden, and India. And that's where we're going to be. And then we will use that as our base for growing out. Strong team, all from different diversity groups. We've got actually Mari Sundin, who herself is a paraplegic, and she's one of the key people as far as design is concerned. And we've got an extremely strong team. I will skip that one. Time-wise, we see ourselves getting to IPO in 2027, 2028. And what we're looking for now is around £10 million. So we can actually get the exoskeletal built and manufactured out of India, which will give us a price benefit. It's the same for the AddSeat. That will be extremely important for us. And obviously it allows us to continue our research with universities who have seen not just the benefit of the AddSeat, but also the actual benefit to the health of the person sitting on the AddSeat and the exoskeletal. And I'll leave you one final slide. I've got about 11 seconds. For me, this comment is the most important thing, is we do change people's lives. We make it really important for people to actually get out and about. And when you get a mail like this, you realize what we're doing is extremely important. And my alarm is going, so that means that I should stop. I'm now over to you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mike. A brilliant solution that you have there. Funnily enough, both my mother has serious problems moving around, talking about aging population, and my ex-mother-in-law also has a similar problem right now. So there certainly is a market out there, right? So I've got a quick question. You were talking about having been selling for the last 3 years, I think you said. So,
yeah.
So what is the sales traction? How many of the AddSeats, how many of the wheelchairs have you sold over that period?
We've sold AddSeats. We've sold around 250 units.
Okay.
Retail price for those is €13,000.
Yeah.
So they're extremely, if you want the early adopter level, they're extremely expensive in relationship to where they are. But also what we found is we're working, for example, the Swedish Employment Office, is that they look at the cost benefit analysis. If you look at someone who's disabled and not working, that becomes really expensive. So someone can cost around €40,000 to actually support them. If you can get them back to work and we can reduce that cost of that support, for example, transport to work, the AddSeat can get them to work, they don't need to use another vehicle. Also, you can reduce that cost so that if it costs €13,000 for this product, actually you're already saving something maybe around €20,000. There still would be an ongoing cost of supporting somebody who's disabled, even if they actually get them back to work.
Yeah. Okay. You've got your alarm still going. I think you can't hear it because you've got the headset on. That's why I always put mine on, half off. Okay. And then in terms, so okay, you say there's a €13,000 cost for purchasing the device. In terms of revenue streams for yourselves, is there any sort of subscription model? Is there a maintenance? Is it just taking the device and selling it? What are the revenue streams there?
The model at the moment is that because we've been selling through dealers, we've been just selling the product and not being able to upsell any other things. But we're now moving to direct selling, and we've been testing this with the US, and COVID has been actually a blessing and a curse at the same time. The good thing about it is that what we've found is that actually there's a very strong appetite to buy online. And then on top of that is actually, it's opened up the idea of us actually selling online and then supporting that with service agreements. So for example, in the US, Pet Boys, Halfords in the UK, Mecca in Sweden, and various other partners. And one of the key parts we've worked with the actual AddSeat is it's very easy to actually maintain. So a competent wheelchair mechanic, a competent mechanic can actually service the product. And that makes it very easy. Most people who have a wheelchair, who have a disability, have someone who supports them with this product. So we don't have an issue with that. What we did have an issue with is actually getting people to buy at distance. By doing online demonstrations, showing people the product, what we found is actually become a very strong appetite for this and made it very easy. We're surprised. And I would say in the last month, we've had 10 times the number of inquiries per week.
Okay.
Because we've increased our marketing on direct sales.
And then the cost. So you talked about doing the production in India to reduce the cost. So how much would that reduce the cost from the current 13,000, approximately proportionate?
Well, for actual manufacturing costs, we will bring down. First phase will be around €1,000. Yeah. Second phase will bring it down €4,000. So basically, the first phase we can actually do assembly and a lot of, if you want, metalwork, existing product as it stands now. But because we can actually bring down the cost of manufacturing, we can also start making some changes and also increase the volume. increasing the volume allows us to move a lot away from, we've got significant amounts of mechanical parts in the product. We can move to electrical and mechanical, which again, the model we're working on is a good, better, and best. At the moment, we have a product that's aimed at the early adopters, the people who've got a bit of money, which is a better product. What we see is actually a good product. If we can bring in around about 6,000 to 8,000, we will have a big market. And the good thing about being around for some while is that we've actually seen what our customers are looking for, where you see their sensitivity to price and where is the sweet point. 10,000 euros, as we see as a key thing, because I've spoken to people like Santander and various other finance partners. They see 10,000 euros, 10,000 pounds, $10,000, 100,000 krones as a sweet point as far as personal credit is concerned. It also means it's affordable. So you're into the 2,000 krones, 200 euros per month price. That makes it very affordable. The other side of it is, from a finance company, is that they also look at what's the second-hand value. And what we've actually got is our products, as we've shown on the last slide, is that these products come back on the market as second-hand, which also opens up to ask the question about where do our other revenues come from. Well, we actually see servicing, we see spare parts, because the products are very robust. They last a long time. And obviously, being originally based in Sweden, Saab is always a good example of a company that, okay, went bust, but the first part that was sold out of that was their spare parts division, because basically there's a lot of cars that keep going for a long time. And so revenue stream from spare parts is significant. There's no two ways about that. But again, building quality to start with is very important.
Yeah, okay. And then just one last thing, and then I'll bring everybody back on screen. I haven't seen any questions yet from the audience, but just one last thing. If I'm not incorrect, this was based on Segway technology. How does the fact that they're not going to continue with Segways affect you? Does that affect you negatively? Is it not?
I think in the short term, it's not a problem. If we were to continue to be based on Segway, yes, it would cause a problem. But we actually have a very strong user base in multiple sclerosis, MS users, who actually have Segways, and they then convert their Segways. So we don't see in the short term a problem. It will be a long-term problem, obviously, if we don't do anything about it. But we've been working on various solutions, working with Chinese manufacturers and various other manufacturers to try different products. The Segway is the most robust product out there. What we need to do is match that, and we can do that. The other side is that technology has moved on, and therefore we can actually move that technology on as well, which is also important. In the short term, no, it's not going to cause us an issue at all.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm just going to bring everybody back on screen then. I can't see that anybody's made any questions, but I'll keep us here for 30 odd seconds just in case somebody does. Thank you everyone for participating. I hope you found it useful. I hope that we all finalize and raise our entire rounds from what we're doing here. Yeah, Emilio's still missing. The two electric motorbike companies. Look at that, terrible, eh? So anyway, but if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to fire away. If not, as I said to everybody at the beginning, there's the last of the pitching sessions is next Tuesday at 12 o'clock CET, and then we have the networking part of the event and the one-to-one meetings part of the event on the 3rd of September, for which you should enter the website connectedmobilityhub.com, click on investor event and fill in the investor form if you're an investor. It is only for the startups that are presenting at this event and for the investors that are signed up. So we do the investor to investor networking, and then we do the investor startup one-to-one meetings later on. Last thing, as nobody seems to be asking a question, if you do want to receive the decks, be put in contact, one-pagers, whatever it be, get a third-party opinion, unbiased opinion from ourselves as to any of the investment opportunities, then please just reach out. We'll send you the whatever information you're after. That's what we're here for. Okay, guys, well, that's it then. So thank you very much. I'm going to end the broadcast. If you want to stay on screen for a second, when I've ended the broadcast, we can just say our goodbyes. Apart from that, I will click now on end broadcast, and then it's just us.
Okay.